Hello. This is a follow-up video from my first speed build. So if you haven't seen that, you will not be seeing the first part of this house's build in this video. If you want to, go watch the first video, which I'll link in the cards and down below. This house is a continuation of the house I've built specifically for two Sims for my Sims 4 Let's Play. So because it's for them specifically, it has like little quirks, like it has this workout machine in one of the bedrooms and it doesn't have a door to the outside because I'm building with just the money that those Sims had in their household monies. What's it called? I forget the name, but I'm not using any cheats for that. Whereas this house, it's kind of like an unlimited budget, but I didn't want the house to be more than 50k. So I gave myself a limit there just to make it playable without crazy cheats. So that's why we're starting off with the house already partly built. We're just editing bits of it to make it finished. I didn't really have like a solid plan of what I wanted it to look like or who was gonna live here at first, but I did know that I wanted to keep that one bedroom downstairs and I wanted it to have the same sort of vibe that the rest of the houses on the road have, and that's why I made an enclosed garden. Because for a while I was debating with myself, like, isn't it a bit nice that their garden leads out and is bigger than just this little plot that you have? In the real game, you don't see the lines of the lot, so it can be all of the back. But it also doesn't really add much because you can't place anything really there. And if you can place it there, then you can place it there regardless of whether the fences are there. And also stops random Sims from coming into your garden. So I thought, you know what, maybe the suburbanites, maybe they know what they're doing. Because this house was partially built, it was going to stay, the greenhouse, going to stay in the same place. But I had space because I knew I was moving that one bedroom downstairs. And I thought it would be perfect to have this little dining room space, because how I know houses, you walk in and usually the first thing you're greeted with, if not stairs, is the living room. And then the house moves on to the kitchen, and then the dining space, or the kitchen and the dining space are within the same area. And that's like a typical old Victorian style house design. Kitchen at the back of the house. I'd already changed that. The kitchen was at the front, but I thought it would be nice if people walk in and they can host, like they just have the living space right there. So if you did have guests coming over, or you have like the welcome wagon, as soon as they come in, they don't have to walk through your house to get to the living space. But the more that I was designing the house, it just made more sense for this space at the back of the house to be the living room space, and for the dining room space to be next to the kitchen at the front of the house. And it did hurt a little bit, I can't lie. I really wanted I just imagined it like, you know, you're walking in by the garden, or maybe they want to have like a barbecue outside. They move the table into the back of the garden, they have these French doors. That's my idea, that's how it was gonna look. And like, but having said all of that and having thought all of what I did think, what I went with actually ends up working really well. And like now, like the parents can watch the children playing outside, watch TV, or they can sit and enjoy the fire and relax in their little semi-private family space. So it ended up working out. I also kept trying to put things in household inventory, and I didn't realize that you don't have household inventory when you're building in just like managed town. So when I tried to put it in household inventory, it just deleted, and I was like, how come it's so cheap? I know why. But you can see me resigning to the fact that the living room space just can't go there because it was just too crazy to have the TV slotted in between these two windows. Like that wall is just perfect for the TV, and it doesn't even have to be a huge TV, it just fits so well. So what I ended up going with is exactly that, but I still made the space nice. And one thing that you did see is me struggling with where to put the radio, and what I've ended up doing is I put it on top of like the china cabinet, or the crockery, what? I always call it wrong. The place where the plates go. It's on top of that because I had to use both alt placement and placing it up off the grid essentially, and it didn't snap to any shelves at all, so I had to manually just keep pressing 9. That's how you get things to go up the wall or up from the floor. I just had to keep pressing 9 until it hit like a row that made sense, and I couldn't edit it because like with the rest of the cabinets there was about this much space where it was just floating, and the only way I could get rid of that floating space was to put it on the cabinet. And I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna say that that works, and maybe it's put there out of sight of the children. Maybe that's why. This area I'm really proud of, because I realized that in my build I don't really have a lot of like skill building areas, places that are specifically just for your Sims to gain skills, obviously, as the name suggests, but they need that because, I mean, otherwise there's not really a lot that your Sims are doing in the game. It's a bit boring. So I thought this place would work so well as a little painting nook, and I used some tips that I've seen from other people's builds, like adding the toothbrush holder as mock paintbrush holders, and I've added like the bit of tissue just in case they want to correct things, as well as the funky rug, which protects against paint spillages. And I don't know, I really liked it. And also I changed the wallpaper in the kitchen because my Sim made me self-conscious about it. And also, the more that I looked at it, I convinced myself that it didn't look good. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but let's just say it happened. I also didn't update much of the stuff in the kitchen because I just found that it fit well, and I didn't want it to be super expensive just to have the best stuff. And also, I imagine that Simmers who aren't just limited by the base game will play with this house, and you're gonna swap out pieces for things from other packs anyway. But the base kitchen works well, and that's all you really need, and it looks good enough, you know? I had a reference for how I wanted the bottom of the house to look like the ground floor, but I didn't really know what I wanted the first floor to look like or who this house was for initially. But what I have now decided, having built the house, is this house is for a multi-generational family. So it's got one room downstairs for the grandma, a room upstairs for the parents, and then a shared room for the children, and a mini office. And if you want to edit that to make it so that the children have their own room, you can do that. Also, one thing in the office on the shelf is an actual functioning bookcase, and it's also the same, like it's the right height as the bookshelf or a regular chest of drawers that you would put that stack of books on. But just because it's on a shelf, it doesn't function as an actually working bookcase in game, which is so annoying because it looked so good to have it there, and it would have been such a nice thing in your gameplay for your Sims to just go and like grab the book from there while they're working in the office. But it is what it is, you know. You can't cry over spilt milk. It's done now. Also, I have made a family to go with this house, and it was going with the fact that in North America, February is Black History Month, and in the UK, February is LGBTQ History Month. So I've made like a black gay family, and I think I've called them like Black and Proud or like Black Pride or something. Anyway, they're on the gallery, and I randomized their names, but we have two dads, a grandma, a teenager who's transitioning, and then a little girl. And they share a room, and you can see it in like how their room works, which side of the room is for whom. Because I've got the teenager they're into music, they're a musician, so we've got a little section in the room that's got a guitar, and then you've got the activity table and the big teddy bear for the little girl. And then one of the dads he works in tech. I haven't really decided what I want him to do. I think like software designer or something like that. And then the other dad he works in fashion. So there aren't really things that you can add from the base game that add to like a fashion career or like a style influencer other than a computer. But I did add in this mock walk-in closet in their room. And in this version of the house that I'm building, I hadn't decided on who I wanted. So on one side you've got like female clothing, on the other side male clothing. You can use the version that's on the gallery that has both sides male clothing. Up to you. But I really enjoyed experimenting with having like these feature walls or these like half walls. So I put like the funky polka dot kind of circle wallpaper in the teenager's side of the room, and then just like a plain kind of, not plain, but like a pastel wallpaper for the rest. And also in the version on the gallery, there's a different color wallpaper next to the activity table to show like that like separation of space. When I came to the parents' room, I reminded myself that the house had a theme that I kind of had disregarded for the rest of the rooms. Each room had its own theme, but for this room I wanted it to blend in with the rest of the house. I wanted it to be the green room for the green house, which is what I've done as best as I can. Like, I still wanted it to look good, but within the theme. So I've put like this walk-in closet. They have the same rug as is under the bed, and I was really struggling with the rug because I do like a rug to like separate space, but I didn't like the rugs that we had on offer. So this one, it was a bit wide and not long enough for me, but it was the best of the worst, and so I went with it. I also don't know if I'm super happy with that color combination with what I've gone for with like the bed swatch, but again, it's done and I'm not going back and changing it. I gave them the biggest room, but I didn't really know how to fill the space, so I thought, what's nicer than having a little sit down area, a little change room, especially if one of the dads works in fashion. Maybe he's showcasing his clothes to his friends or to his husband and and they do like a little fashion show, whatever. And then a bit more morbid, when we come to the grandma's room, I put a little urn. I put a little urn to commemorate granddad. So he's represented in the house in some way. Yeah, but I think, well, I know that got messed up. Once I put it on the gallery, I forgot that I didn't add extra windows upstairs, and I didn't add stairs to the outside garden area, so they couldn't actually access it. So I had to go back and edit that, and once I added the stairs, it moved the placement of the doors for some silly reason, so I had to go and manually move the doors, which messed up the placement of the urn and stuff. So I think you have it or you don't have it. I don't know where it's gone, like if it's hidden in the wall because I have moved objects cheap on, but we did what we could. You know what I mean? We did what we could. Overall, that is it. I'll do a little showcase with the finished house, which is on the gallery, and I've written a comment to show you which one has the doors and the windows, and I'll just show you the family moving around the space and how I envisioned it. Thank you to the people who've already liked my build. It makes me feel very happy, and I hope that you enjoy playing with it. If you do, that's all from me, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!